Everything we are starts with you. Our hopes.
I loved him as a person because he got more heart than anybody.
Dreams.
I just can't believe this.
Smiles.
Continues to melt my heart.
And trials.
How do you explain to a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, mommy has cancer?
Our tragedies.
We just received information the suspect is in custody.
It's going to take a community to heal.
Truths.
The chief tendered his resignation.
I want to get to the bottom of it.
Heroes.
She's a different kind of strong.
Are you?
There you go.
I love the Lord.
Our compassion for those in need.
I believe my daughter's out there somewhere. I just want to know what happened to my son.
Standing up against corruption and greed.
I'm going to make sure that those who made my son suffer pay.
Where we've been.
My mother never quit talking about Jack.
And where we're going next.
Thank you for keeping us safe.
We're trying to transform the inner city by transforming the inner man.
My neighborhood is taking care of me, and we're trying to take care of them.
They say thank you and shake your hand. Makes you feel good.
This is who we are, and everything we are starts with you. The CBS 6 Community.
Thank you, Captain. We just received information the suspect is in custody. Just need a moment to thank God.
I'm standing outside Scott Stadium on the campus of UVA. Police say 5 students were shot last night, and tonight we're learning about the 3 football players who were killed.
Plus, we're learning about the school field trip the victims were on just before the attack. CBS 6 News at 6 starts right now. Our top story tonight, devastation in Charlottesville. A shooting on the campus of the University of Virginia left 3 students dead and injured others. We have complete team coverage tonight with multiple crews at UVA and here in Central Virginia where the suspected shooter was arrested. I'm Candace Burns. Bill Fitzgerald is anchoring live from UVA where we start our coverage tonight. Bill?
Candace, we're outside Scott Stadium right now, about a mile or so away from where the shooting happened last night aboard a bus, a charter bus coming back from Washington, D.C., following a field trip. That's where 5 students were shot, 3 of them killed. Those were all football players. And behind me now, over the last several hours, a makeshift memorial has been growing. Students bringing bouquets, children, small children as well as older people, everyone coming in a sort of impromptu fashion to pay their respects to the 3 who died. Our Elizabeth Holmes heard from UVA officials tonight about the investigation, about what led up to the shooting, and how university leaders and police are responding tonight. Elizabeth?
Well, Bill, it is definitely a solemn feeling here tonight on grounds at the University of Virginia. That shooting taking place just outside of the Colbreth Road garage just behind me. And the moment that we learned that the suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., had been found after nearly 12 hours of searching brought a very tangible sense of relief to this community.
Pardon me.
This moment bringing a sigh of relief after a shooting at the University of Virginia left 3 students dead and 2 injured.
Thank you, Captain. We just received information the suspect is in custody.
The 3, Deshaun Perry, Lavelle Davis, and Devin Chandler, all current players on UVA's football team.
This is an unimaginably sad day for our community. The entire university community is grieving this morning. My heart is broken for the victims and their families and for all those who knew and loved them.
And we're learning that Jones actually landed on the UVA threat assessment team's sheet, that is, to investigate 2 separate times before Sunday's shooting. Our Melissa Hippolyte goes in depth tonight to explain what that means and why Jones was being investigated.
The year after the tragic mass shooting at Virginia Tech, Virginia's General Assembly passed a law requiring universities to create policies and procedures to prevent violence on campus. The schools were told to put together a threat assessment team made up of members of law enforcement, mental health professionals, and representatives from student affairs and human resources. UVA has a threat assessment team, and according to their website, the team assesses and intervenes with individuals whose behavior poses a threat to the safety of the university community. Well, today we learned from UVA's Chief of Police, Tim Longo, that the UVA shooting suspect, Christopher Jones Jr., came to the attention of the school's threat assessment team twice. Longo said in the first instance, Jones was involved in a hazing investigation, and during the course of that investigation, the team learned of a prior criminal incident involving a concealed weapon that occurred outside Charlottesville in February of 2021.
It's just a tragic loss to the community. There is a massive amount of damage happening here.
Let's go.
Wow, it's crazy. I was just concerned for the buildings around us and the school itself. It's a historic property.
Wow, it is severely on fire. It looks like the fire team is like completely surrounding the building. Looks like this thing is just getting started in a way. Woo!
The Richmond Public Schools community anxious to learn what's being done at other RPS schools to prevent a tragedy like the one that destroyed Fox Elementary. Hear from concerned parents tonight.
All I can think about taking from that is the memories, the laughters, the jokes, the aha moments.
A Fox teacher opens up to us about what the last 12 days have been like for her. Hear her message for our community.
And a Fox parent overwhelmed with gratitude for the time and money Richmonders have donated to that elementary school. She tells us how her kids are coping with online learning. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Leland Pender.
And I'm Julie Bragg. We are going in depth tonight. Our Bill Fitzgerald is here with us throughout the evening. He joins us from Fox Elementary School in the Fan. Bill?
Hi, Julie and Lillian. It's been nearly 2 weeks since a 3-alarm fire broke out here late at night on February 11th. Behind me, you see the school still in ruins, virtually untouched. Nothing has been touched because the investigation continues. Today also marks 1 week since students and teachers started learning virtually, their only option as they move forward as best they can, even while still processing this tragedy.
Bill, this is still very much an active scene. There are dozens of first responders, VDOT workers here. We actually saw one of the tractor trailers that was under this bridge from that accident actually be carted away. And if you can look closely, you can see a beam that has punctured underneath the Belvedere Bridge. We're seeing crews assess that right now. And you can see from cell phone video that was sent in to us earlier today, the smoke and the traffic backups from this crash. State police say earlier this afternoon around noon, a tractor trailer carrying the beams that looked like the one that punctured the bridge had one of those beams come loose, and that beam fell and then struck a septic truck to the left of it. The septic truck then caught on fire, exploded, and overturned. The driver was a 49-year-old man from Dillon. He died on the scene.
Well, we have a violent crime crisis in Virginia right now.
It is the #1 killer of children 0 to 19 in our country right now. And I think that should get everybody's attention.
Too many caskets have been picked out. Too many bullets in our neighborhoods. Too many mothers are yelling and screaming, why my son, why my daughter?
Society as a whole is victimized anytime a child is murdered.
It's one of the most memorable homicides I ever covered. Drug dealers came by, shot this little girl, Kayla Brown, through her bassinet. I can remember coming home and hugging my kid.
It is time to take action. I don't just want to show up on the scene and hug a loved one that's grieving. I want them to let them know I'm here for the whole ride.
We trying to transform the inner city by transforming the inner man.
When you randomly shooting that, bullets don't have a name. A 3-month-old, a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, it doesn't matter. They're still somebody's baby, you know, that you're putting their life at jeopardy.
Come on, people. We got to do better.
Welcome to this special presentation of the CBS 6 News at 6. I'm Candace Burns in Richmond alongside CBS 6 Crime Insider John Broquette.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald here in Petersburg with CBS 6 senior reporter Wayne Koval. Today, we're taking a 360-degree look at crime, an issue that's causing concerns in communities across the country right now.
In the last few weeks, there have been mass shootings that have claimed the lives of innocent men, women, and children across the country.
And we've had several high-profile shootings in the Richmond area, like the one that took place at a graduation party in Chesterfield County. Once again, it spurred a national and local conversation on gun violence.
Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take an in-depth look at the problems and the potential solutions.
And we'll profile those who are trying to change things for the better.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight, like at a spot that we come to all the time.
All right, guys, still have some detectives, some patrol, some folks in the major crimes unit here still on scene.
Why does it seem like things are so much more violent, especially with gun violence?
So our gun violence has escalated. We don't know what the cause of the escalation is, but it has increased. It's concerning to us. It's concerning to our citizens.
There was a mass shooting being planned at our 4th of July celebration at the Dale.
I learned afterwards on the morning of July 5th.
Commonwealth has no information that either of these individuals were involved in a potential shooting.
We are closing all discussion about the planned 4th of July mass shooting.
And even in this federal court documents, there is nothing related to a mass shooting plot.
And if we're building trust, aren't those questions that need to be answered? That story in just a moment. First, we continue to follow breaking news out of Richmond, where the police chief has resigned. Good evening. I'm Candace Byrne.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald. We have in-depth team coverage tonight, including 2 exclusive angles. Our Maggie Marshall spoke to community members and explains what comes next. Plus, we put together a timeline of Gerald Smith's tenure in the department.
But first, let's go to our Tyler Lane. He spoke to council members about this news. Tyler?
Well, the city leaders I spoke to tonight say this is something that needed to happen after months of public safety turmoil and internal issues within the police department. Now, we actually saw former Chief Gerald Smith leave City Hall this evening shortly before the city made that announcement, but he did not want to tell us about his resignation.
Okay, what just happened at City Hall? Was it an emergency meeting?
Not an emergency meeting at all, Tyler.
What happened?
Have a good day.
Those words from Gerald Smith as he denies anything significant happening during a closed-door meeting at City Hall Tuesday afternoon.
You're watching the News 6 Network.
We can tell you that the one shot was heard coming from the woods behind the Ponderosa restaurant at about 8 o'clock this evening.
This is a very unusual incident for this community. Someone being shot for no apparent reason and from some type of a stealth position.
Deborah, from the moment that we came out here, I can tell you it was the biggest police presence I have ever seen in Central Virginia.
On October 19, 2002, a terror spree that began 2.5 weeks earlier in Maryland arrived at the doorstep of Richmond. While walking across the parking lot of the Ponderosa Steakhouse in Ashland, a Florida man named Jeffrey Hopper was shot in the abdomen and critically wounded. An attack that bore all the hallmarks of the serial sniper.
We are acting as if it is. We will continue on that mode until we know that it is not.
Days later, assumption becomes reality.
Can and do confirm at this time that the ballistics evidence recovered during our investigation has been matched with the other shooting cases.
I tell you, it was a lot of good police work done.
At the time, Colonel Stuart Cook was the sheriff of Hanover County.
Everybody was on edge. It was frightening times. I mean, as I said, for everybody, law enforcement included.
And he had already started getting ready for the worst, well before John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo showed up in Ashland.
As the shootings continued, it looked like the jurisdictions hadn't had a whole lot of cooperation with each other. So I called Dave and said, Dave, we need to get a plan together for the Richmond metropolitan area, because if a sniper comes, we need to be prepared for it.
Current Hanover Sheriff Dave Hines was Cook's right-hand man.
There wouldn't be any question as to who was going to be in charge where it happened, as well as how many people can we bring in? What assets are we going to bring in?
We only finished that plan like a day before the sniper actually shot the individual at the Ponderosa in the town of Ashland.
You never know who or what you're going to run into.
Jerome George is a part-time deputy with the Hopewell Sheriff's Office.
It was September 19th, just after 4 in the morning.
But 20 years ago, he wore a different badge.
I was a patrolman, police officer here in the city of Petersburg.
And there's one day on the job he'll never forget.
I received a call for service approximately 4:30 a.m. in reference to a suspicious vehicle.
At the time, this field of grass off Washington Street was the parking lot for a hotel overlooking Interstate 95. Due to a dorm room shortage, the building was housing students from Virginia State University. But that morning, security noticed a car that was not supposed to be there.
Sitting in the parking lot right here. It was backed in at this parking spot right here.
There was a lot of clothing in the back seat. I do remember that very well.
A blue Chevrolet Caprice with out-of-state tags.
Their license plates, I do remember that they were New Jersey.
And 2 people inside.
I did make contact with both individuals, and I do remember specifically that the driver was actually asleep. The passenger was he was on a laptop computer.
George woke up the driver, who was polite and cooperative.
It didn't give no trouble at all, gave no indications of any type of illegal, suspicious activities. They just said they were tired, they were traveling north from Louisiana, and he was going to see relatives in Maryland.
No suspicion?
No suspicion. I just wanted to check on his well-being. You got to understand, out here in Petersburg, you got 2 major interstates. You have 85 and you got Interstate 95. It's not uncommon to see individuals pull off to the side of the road into a parking lot, to get some rest.
There are thousands of cold cases in Virginia, and only 1% ever get solved.
It's one of the most brutal murders that I've seen.
Taj had 4 bullet holes in the back of his head.
That's a vicious act. He was beat.
You got him naked?
Tied to a chair.
Yeah, he was tortured, and he was real bad.
That's the one thing that gets me about this case in general, is this guy ran terrified to his death. Somebody on that street saw something.
It's been 4 years. Nobody has said anything.
This was the last known place that my daughter was seen.
Keisha Jacobs, she was 21 years old at the time of her disappearance. There has been a person of interest in this case. He was convicted of another crime in that house, strangulation of a woman. The girl was tied to this bed. The red flags have got to be going up all over the place. Abduction, this is our guy.
I would say he is a predator.
I believe he gave her to someone. I believe my daughter's out there somewhere.
Vinny Ferriello was found hanging inside his exotic pet shop in Chester.
No one knows what happened.
How can you say suicide and refute what the medical examiner is saying, and they say it's a homicide?
Some people think that he killed himself. Is just crazy to me because he just loved his family so much.
Faith first reached out to me. She was 16 years old, and when she turned 20, she hit me up again. She says, Mr. Burkett, what can we do to reopen my dad's case?
It doesn't add up to me, and it never has. My dad deserves justice.
All I want is for my baby to come home. He was a wonderful father, and it's sad that my grandson only got 2 years with his father.
I was his only daughter. And he loved us more than anything in the entire world. I just miss my dad.
Can you imagine somebody like me from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, who grew up on welfare, end up being on Richmond City Council? I am so grateful that the people in Richmond had faith in me.
Dr. King sacrificed his life in pursuit of equality. He said that one of the greatest inequalities is the injustice in healthcare.
Dr. King reminded us we have a responsibility.
So as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to pass on this legacy.
Mm-hmm. There should be a MLK in each one of us as we strive to build for better communities and tackling social justice.
And I think that when he said, we shall overcome, it says someday. I think he was just the tip of the iceberg.
I have to believe that his dream will become a reality.
Welcome to the 44th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Community Leaders Awards, sponsored by Virginia Union University and Dominion Energy.
We are out at the outdoor mall on a rainy day, so we're going to try to find some folks that came a little unprepared, give them an umbrella, and it's going to get cold next week, so we've got Starbucks gift cards to hand out to them as well. Hopefully they can use one or both. All right, and it's going to get cold next week, so there's a Starbucks gift card.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Holy oh my God, thank you.
I'm just visiting today. My name's Julie Bragg and I work at CBS 6. You got to put that money away. He knows who I am. Do you know what I'm doing? Today, the 4 of you, your ice cream's on us.
Oh, thank you. What do you say, George?
We wanted to give a substantial donation to you.
No way!
From CBS 6.
Jeez, I see these segments all the time. That's so exciting.
Yeah. Does that sound good?
No catch.
Maybe that'll help you some long nights coming up or long days with your studies, and we want to just help you out with that.
I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Oh. Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, that is so sweet.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a hug. No, I hope that it can help. I hope
it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm CBS 6 Chief Meteorologist Zach Daniel. You know why we do weather out here in our backyard? Check this out. I love this time of year. So you'll know what to expect in your backyard all year long. Oh, that's it.
From our backyard to yours. Weekdays on CBS 6 News.
Yeah, what a day to do this as well. And temperatures today made it up close to 70 degrees. I'll show you where we are right now. We'll start with Sky 6, our drone footage. And you can see where we are here on what we call the Huguenot Flatwater, where folks come out a lot of times with stand-up paddle boards, canoes, and kayaks. There's some good catfishing going on up here. A lot of times smallmouth fishing as well. But this time of year, there is a danger that exists if you get out on the river and happen to get submerged in water. It's called a cold water threat or cold water shock. So let me talk about what that is. Now, we all know what hypothermia is. Being in the water for a long period of time, you can lose 4 times as much body heat being submerged in cold water as you can just being surrounded by cold air. So being in the water is a real threat, but this cold water shock occurs at a much shorter time span. Look at the low temperatures from this morning, 31 here in Richmond, so it was an official freeze, some 20s around town. And when you look at how this compares to average, our average last freeze is April 6th. So this came in 2 weeks later than average, but nowhere close to the latest ever on May 11th. Can you imagine having a freeze that late in the year? It's happened before. Hopefully this will be our last one.
Look at the forecast for today. We're looking at partly sunny skies. We'll see a little more sun as the day goes. A little breezier than yesterday, but we're looking at a high near 80 degrees. Picture perfect for opening day here at the Diamond.
But first this morning, we're having a little fun. We're going out to City Stadium, where Tom is live in celebration of the Richmond Kickers' 30th season. This is a view from our Sky 6 drone. And tonight's home game marks the first time that a Major League Soccer club has come to the River City since 2015. Good morning, Tom.
Let's show you what's going on out here to get you started this morning. We've got temperatures at 52 degrees at the airport, light northerly breezes. The winds will kick up a little bit today, but mostly clear skies for a nice bright start to our day today.
Okay, I want to go over to Andrew Smith right now. He has a tornado on the ground at this time, a live tornado on the ground. Let's go over to his storm feed here. Okay, Andrew, give us your exact location and tell us the direction you're looking and what we're looking at here.
Hey, Zach, I'm on Beaver Dam Road, right at Old Ridge Road, just to the west of the intersection where the Shamrock gas station is. If I can't see there's debris. There's a tornado on the ground just west of Beaver Dam Road and Old Ridge Road intersection.
Okay, tornado on the ground right now. This is out in northwestern sections of Hanover County. Again, Montpelier. You got a number on that Beaver Dam Road. Is that, Andrew, can you tell me exactly a little more specifics on where that is exactly?
Zach, I got to move. This thing's coming right at me. I got to go.
Okay, all right, get in a safe spot. Again, Andrew had a live tornado on the ground. That's Andrew Smith, our CBS 6 storm chaser. Tornado on the ground. He's going to reposition and get into a safer spot, but a confirmed tornado on the ground that was intermittently touching down out in sections of western sections here of Hanover County. This was the same storm that came up through Goochland County.
Right now at 11, a nightmare on 95. A major crash in Stafford County forcing people to sleep in their cars on this bitterly cold night after being stranded on the road for nearly 10 hours. We have complete coverage for you tonight.
It was an absolute mess. I said, we're going to be out of here another night. And my wife was starting to get some car sickness. I was behind this wheel for, I think I figured 44 hours.
It's absolutely crazy. 5.5 hours into this. Why is VDOT not routing people?
I am getting sick and tired of people talking about what went wrong.
Are you making any progress up there? God, we're stuck in the middle of 95. We can't go anywhere.
CBS 6 listened to hours of dispatch calls that were made last Monday night and Tuesday morning. Troopers were getting stuck, struggling to get tow companies to scenes, and trying to help motorists.
Haven't made it there yet. Traffic's at a complete standstill on the shoulders for the block of snow.
When the governor said that he's sick about hearing about what went wrong, that's too bad. This is what he's paid to do. This is his job, to handle matters of public safety in Virginia.
Or Laura, she investigates every angle and doesn't stop until people are held accountable.
I didn't think it was ever going to happen.
Shock and relief from this former Cumberland Children's Hospital patient after learning the former medical director, Daniel Davidow, has been charged with sexually abusing her and another teen at the New Kent facility.
No matter how arrogant he was, or is, thinking that everyone's going to believe his lies, you were finally caught.
Over the last 2.5 years, CBS 6 has traveled to North Carolina and Florida to interview the alleged victims about what they say Davidow did to them during their stays at the hospital.
Almost every child that I talked to was given Thorazine. Some of the interviews that I did would haunt me at night. You know, some of the more egregious, especially the ones where the children would talk about being on these high-powered drugs and sexual things were being done to them, and they felt paralyzed or trapped in their own body, and they couldn't cry out and they couldn't move. That's some of the things that bother me the worst.
The 911 call came in and said,
We need a deputy at Lawrenceville Correctional Center ASAP. Okay, what's going on?
they escaped from their housing unit and was running around on the campus.
They need to come right now.
It's pretty crazy.
See that right there? That was, realizing my client was afraid this guy had a gun because he said he was going to shoot him.
Kimberly hopes the commissioner will do what she feels is only fair, approve the claim.
I can't tell you how many times my phone has rang in the middle of the night with them calling because they needed help. They needed someone, they needed him to cover a run, to drive for them because they didn't have enough drivers. Now when he needs help, they don't care about him.
How many times do you turn on the news and you think, oh, here comes another bad story? Well, what a great opportunity to not tell good stories, but great stories about amazing people.
I came to this realization a couple of years ago that I am so much happier covering college and high school sports, and almost always their stories are just as compelling as anyone that has made it to the highest level of any given sport.
I get to tell stories about people doing good things in the community. My hope is that our viewers will find it inspiring and want to volunteer and help and make a difference.
There are so many people all across our area that are making an impact on all of our lives by doing the simplest act.
And then I get to let everyone in Central Virginia know just how lucky they are that this person lives in their community.
What gets better than that?
Best part of my day.
It's awesome.
Civil War reenactor Yari Villanueva returns to Berkeley often with bugle in hand.
It is such a poignant piece of music. It is that song that is the nation's farewell to those who've served.
For Yari, playing where it all started can't be measured.
It's a little eerie knowing that this is the birthplace of taps, but it's also an honor to be standing on this ground where the call was composed, 160 years ago.
I try to make it as flawless as possible.
Enduring over the centuries.
I just do my best, trying to reach that ultimate goal.
Passed down from generation to generation. One soldier to another.
They're hearing it. They may be in some unconscious level that we're not really aware of. They're listening and they're hearing it and they're appreciative.
It's so addictive.
Moan is mastering a toy long associated with a much younger set.
Just takes practice is all. There she is.
Moan sands, shapes, and slices handmade slingshots.
Toy maker.
Yeah, you got to be in fairly good shape.
Hatton is the last pole-operated ferry in America.
All right.
When we're not together, I know just the
right words that I would use in telling you everything. But when we're together, all I can think of is I love you.
Vance.
Vance and Betty Sue went from writing each other to exchanging vows, their marriage lasting 50 years.
Welcome to the jungle.
Enjoy. Thank you.
It's Louisa County Friday Night Football.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the night.
Lights, camera, and oh, the action. And not just on the field.
1st and 10, Louisa!
But up on the Jumbotron.
Really, I just look at all the cameras and decide which one has the best shot of the play, and whichever one has the best shot, I put it up on program.
Part of that cool is thanks to her instructor.
Good switch that went out of focus.
He knows a thing or two. Ken Kalinske is a former newsroom program director and production vet turned teacher.
They learned wide shot, medium shot, tight shot. They learned the very first step of how to turn on a camera, how to put a camera on a tripod. They're learning every single competency that goes along with actually doing a video production.
First downs and first-year media students.
The mascot?
They're bringing the fun on Friday nights.
Nice. Good job too.
And building better minds.
Replay now.
Nick Talafero managed to finish a 5-under round of 66 to lead at 11 under par. Right behind him is former Virginia Tech standout Connor Burgess. And former champ Mark Lawrence remains in the hunt as well. Sit back as the final round of the State Open of Virginia is next.
State Open of Virginia, live from Independence Golf Club. Presented by CapTech.
And Nick Talafer had the second round lead. As we take a look at the leaderboard right now, he had a one-shot lead coming into today, and he has expanded that now to 4 shots. He is at 13 under par, 4 better than defending champion Evan Beck, who has played himself quite around this afternoon so far. For the birdie in the championship.
How about that?
In the nick of time, Nick Talafer with a birdie on the 18th hole to win his first ever State Open championship.
It's football time in the 804.
Final Score Friday. Fridays at 11.
Welcome to the inaugural RVA Sports Awards, live from the Greater Richmond Convention Center, presented by Rosie's Gaming Emporium and Colonial Downs. Now, your host, CBS 6 Sports Director, Lane Casadante.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Coming to you live from the Greater Richmond Convention Center in downtown Richmond for the first ever RVA Sports Awards.
Tonight, we will recognize local athletic achievements from the past year, and we will honor those that make the Richmond region better every single day through sport.
The only thing Stewart has dealt with longer than wrestling is his hearing loss.
Down!
Born deaf,
Oh, I can't hear y'all. You got the deaf coach over here.
Stewart received his first hearing implants at the age of 7.
Top move, let's go!
It has not stopped him from becoming one of the most popular figures in the entire school.
And being deaf, and me, I have a learning disability. I'm able to connect to him immediately because both of us have things that we struggle with in terms of like a disability. But him and I, being able to have that mutual understanding, it makes us closer as people.
Who did I miss?
Stewart was named Wrestling Coach of the Year by the Charlottesville Daily Progress and guided the Lions' first individual state champion in 15 years to a title. At the same time, he's still competing himself, headed to his 5th Deaflympic Games and seeking his first medal. He has won 5 Deaflympic team trial championships and uses his own journey to show his students that no hurdle, no obstacle, no disability, or negativity can keep you from your goals.
If you see what's in front of you, then you know that at the end of that tunnel, that's the prize that you want. You have to go get it.
Merry Christmas! Happy holidays to everyone.
It's a real cool you, cause the gang's all here. Fa la 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 la. Digging all that holiday cheer. Fa la 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 la. Bundle up, man, let it snow. Fa la 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 la. 'Cause everyone's got the Yuletide glow. Fa la 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 la.
Have a great day.
Thanks for watching the Dominion Energy Christmas Parade.